Welcome to the Happiness Matters podcast, where we'll explore happiness at work and show you how to coach yourself to be happier there and more successful too, no matter what.
Hello everyone, it's me again, Julia Seal, your host and your coach at Happiness Matters. How are you doing this week? We're about 2 months into our various lockdowns, so I hope you're hanging in there. Last week we clarified all the meanings around engagement, flow, happiness, and how they link to employee engagement. This week we're looking at your happiness and success. So at Happiness Matters we always say happy and successful no matter what. Since this is another Q&A session, and the question from one of our listeners is, why do we link the two together? That's what we're going to be exploring today, because some of you believe that they're the same, two sides of the same coin, and others believe that they're polar opposites and shouldn't be used in the same sentence. Today, let's dive into coaching ourselves by examining how happiness and success are linked and work together. So first of all, how are we defining success? Well, you could just read Success magazine, which has been around since 1897, and get all your answers. I'm joking. You know me by now, our answers never all lie in one place. At its most basic, the dictionary definition, we know that success means the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. So that's simple, but go a little further and it starts to get more complicated, and it's where people begin to differ from each other on what they believe. Because yes, success does mean the achieving of our desired results, our goals, but dictionaries also define it as the attainment of fame, wealth, and social status. And these words are all cited as synonyms for each other. Success, accomplishment, happiness, fame, achievement, gain, progress, and prosperity. You only need to look at the world's wisdom on happiness and success to notice that everyone's got an opinion on whether these are analogous, the same or not. Happiness, success, prosperity, and achievement. So many views. Complete opposite ends of the spectrum, and everything in between, and a lot of advice. You've got Aristotle, Greek rationalist from 300 BC, who thought very deeply about these things and who we consider to be the father of happiness studies. Happiness is the meaning and purpose of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. Happiness is the ultimate goal of every person's life, the highest end of human striving. Everything that we choose for the sake of something else. Everything except for happiness. Then there's the well-known saying, money can't buy you happiness, and all its variations, by Spike Milligan, Gertrude Stein, the Lexus adverts, Nedbank in South Africa. We have Nobel Peace Prize winner Albert Schweitzer, who weighs in with, success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. As does Helen Keller, your success and happiness lie in you. Or this one, attributed to an actress, a radio host, and a self-improvement author. Success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you get. These differing opinions give us the hint to our self-coaching. What's our stance in this discussion? Are they the same or are they different? Or what do you think? Are they the same for you? If I'm happy, I'm successful, and if I'm successful, I'm happy. So do you consider them to be different? And if they are different, then how are they related? And here's an interesting one. Always. If they're different, what comes first? Success or happiness? Do you need to be successful first and then you become happy? Or do you need to be happy first and then become successful? And we've actually got ourselves a chicken or egg scenario. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Let's look at both options of this dilemma. Let's look at success precedes happiness and happiness precedes success. So the first, success precedes happiness. This is the most common belief and has been around since the Industrial Revolution. If you work hard, if you study and do well at school, if you get a well-paying job and move up the ladder, you're successful. And if you're successful like this, then you'll be happy. So it's to do with achievement, progress, and winning. And you can see with this belief how easy it is for us to equate success with fame, wealth, and social status. And we all buy into this on some level. We're successful professional women who have done well. We've done well in our lives, at work and at home. And we measure this done well, this success, by the jobs we have, the number of people we can mentor, the state of our relationships, the travels we've been on, our lack of debt, and even how well we're balancing work and life. If we're successful in all the things we value, then we'll be happy. Now let's look at happiness precedes success. Recent strides taken in neuroscience and positive psychology are challenging many of these long-held beliefs about the links between success and happiness. Neuroscientists from Standford University Medical School used MRI brain scans to map the neurological effects of positivity, and they have proved that our positive feelings make our brains work better. Positive emotions trigger the release of serotonin and dopamine, and these neurotransmitters significantly enhance motor control, motivation, memory, problem solving, mental focus, and the ability to process multiple concepts simultaneously. Isn't this fascinating? So if we're feeling good, then our ability to focus at work improves. Our creative ability might flow better. If you're finding you're getting forgetful in midlife, here's a thought. Positive thinking about our studies and our work increases the activity of the hippocampus in our brains, which is responsible for memory and learning. Isn't this the perfect time then to be coaching together to improve our memory by questioning our long-held beliefs about ourselves, our worth and our value, by challenging our unseen negative thoughts, by crafting a different view of happiness and success, where helpful thoughts have equal airtime in our brains as do the unhelpful ones? As Sean Achor, author of The Happiness Advantage, says in his TED Talk, reverse the happiness and success formula. We think if we work harder and achieve some goal, then we'll be happier. But the research is clear that every time you have a success, your brain changes what success means. So for you and your team, if happiness is on the opposite side of success, you'll never get there. But if you increase your levels of happiness in the midst of a challenge, in the midst of a down economy, there's a thought, what we find is that all of your success rates rise dramatically. Every business outcome improves. I've pulled together some additional research for you from Harvard University, Gallup, and the University of California. This is what being happy at work does for you. See if it defines success for you, personally and professionally. Personally, if we're happy at work, we'll have greater intrinsic motivation and perseverance towards goals, while being more willing to invest time and effort into overcoming obstacles. We'll have better mental and physical health, more skilled at balancing work and home life. We'll be more active at work, finding enjoyment even during routine and commonplace tasks. We'll be more creative and more flexible in problem solving, more resilient, better at handling challenges, and better at coping, as well as having an easier time recovering from adversity at work. So overall, we'll perform better and be more productive. Professionally, if we're happy at work, we'll experience easier, more effective collaboration and teamwork, more camaraderie with others. Happy people just treat their colleagues better. Less interpersonal hostility and conflict, fewer incidents of sabotage, and a greater likelihood of resolving conflict through restoring relationships rather than holding grudges or withdrawing from the other person. Negotiating is more constructive. We're seen as more socially appealing, trustworthy, warm, friendly, helpful, and in contrast to the happy-go-lucky stereotype, more competent. And we receive more favorable evaluations from supervisors and managers on the quality of work, productivity levels, and dependability. So what do you think of the happiness, success, chicken and egg dilemma now? Does the link between the two, the happiness, success formula, seem right for you? What does it mean in your self-coaching? Perhaps it means challenging your current definition of success, asking yourself, where does your definition of success come from, and how do I want to reshape it now in my midlife? Just the same way we did right at the start in episode 1.1 and 1.2 with our definitions of happiness. Actually, you can use all the same coaching sessions from 1.1 to 1.6 and the tools to go with them if you want to tease out your version of success still further. I also suggest deciding on two aspects of success for yourself: outward success and inner success. What are you going to decide are your outward measures of success? Decide on purpose what these are, not from the beliefs you've inherited or picked up from around you. What are the accruements of success that you want to continue to pursue in midlife? You might well have your master's degree already, or be like me and still fancy the idea of being Dr. Seal, like my cousin. Perhaps it's a more spacious house to house your blended family. You want to mentor more youngsters. You're committed to changing policies and laws. You want to be debt-free or take the trip of a lifetime. Once we can travel again after COVID. Really think about what do you want to spend the next 5, maybe 10 years of your life pursuing. Create your own brand of success. Now is the time to shed all other people's opinions on what looks like success and ensure that you love yours. What might help you further is to consider where you believe you're not successful. I'll give you a hint. Remember British historian Richard Scotch's comment from his book, The Secrets of Happiness, 3,000 Years of Searching for the Good Life. Unhappy is the story of happiness. Everyone's journey to happiness begins from the same place, unhappiness. We start with the feeling that our lives are out of joint. We might be unsure how to repair it, but we sense the misalignment between the life we have and the life we imagine ourselves to have. This sense of misalignment is a great guide to help us work out what we want in terms of our happiness and success in midlife. And here's another idea, buffering. Where are you buffering? Buffering is not happiness, and nor is it success. Go back to episode 1.23 on buffering your life away, where I talk about all the things we do to procrastinate, to put our precious human lives on hold. Overeating, overdrinking, overworking, binge-watching Netflix night after night. And in honor of Solitaire Day this week, endlessly playing Solitaire. While you're considering your outward success, think about what inner success is for you. And to get you thinking, How about the killer interview question? I'm sure you've all used it before on some poor, unsuspecting new recruit. When you die, what do you want written on your tombstone? But this time, this question is just for you, and no one needs to hear your answer. I've got 2 books to offer you to explore how you answer this, as well as all the coaching we've done in Series 1, from lion-hearted courage and anti-fragility to feeling the full range of emotions, to smiling, laughter, power, and kindness. The first book is a classic by famous Russian author from the late 1800s, Leo Tolstoy, called The Death of Ivan Ilyich. It's a short novel, so much shorter than War and Peace, and a very easy read, unlike Anna Karenina. Tolstoy tells the story of Ivan, high court judge described as a worldly careerist, who's never thought about his own death, never reflected on his life, until the day when he comes face to face with his own mortality. Left alone, Ivan moaned less from the pain, agonizing as it was, than from anguish. The same thing, on and on, the same endless days and nights, if only it would come quicker. If only what would come quicker? Death? Darkness? No, anything is better than death. Ivan's spiritual crisis, facing the abyss of his death, illustrates what we've been talking about today. He spent his life focusing on outward success, looking for the kind of happiness that keeps us stuck on the happiness treadmill, believing that success precedes happiness. And it's only right now, at the very end, that Ivan questions his beliefs about success, about happiness, and about what he has spent his life pursuing. What if my entire life, my entire conscious life, simply was not the real thing? In them he saw himself, all he had lived by, saw clearly that all this was not the real thing, but a dreadful, enormous deception that shut out both life and death. Then the second book is more recent, by Stephen Levine. It was inspired by Tolstoy and by the many people Stephen has helped over 30 years with his pioneering approach to working with the experience of grief, concentration camp survivors, war veterans, and victims of sexual abuse. It's called A Year to Live, How to Live This Year as If It Were Your Last. Such a good read. He decides to live a full year as if it was his last one. So a year to deal with unfinished business, to resolve our denial of death and our denial of life. A year to enter into a new and vibrant relationship with life. He called it practicing dying. A 1-year experiment in consciousness renewal intended to sharpen life and soften death while we still have the chance. In the book, he actually shares with us a step-by-step program how to do this, how to live each moment, each hour, each day mindfully, so that whenever the ultimate moment does arrive for each of us, we won't feel that it's come too soon, like Ivan Ilyich did. If you do want to coach with me, if you've been inspired by our exploration today on success in your midlife, please go to Coach with Julia at Happiness-Matters.coach, where you can book a free insight session to see how we might coach together. Midlife truly is our best opportunity to do this work, to think on our happiness and success, to sharpen life and soften death. There is no better time to do this coaching together. As Mark Twain says, the 2 most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you figure out why. And one very last word as you do this, from Confucius, ancient Chinese philosopher. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Now next week is our last Q&A session of Series 1, so it's your chance to send your questions to me and ask Julia on the website Happiness-Matters.coach anything and everything about Series 1 coaching together. And for you this week, may you be happy, may you be free. There is no better time to coach together. Bye for now from a very chilly Cape morning, long before our countrywide COVID exercise time slot opens.
Thanks for joining us on this Happiness Matters podcast. Do join us again here next week on Tuesday. You can subscribe to this series at Apple Podcasts on iTunes, or you can sign up for it on our website, Happiness-Matters.coach. That's Happiness-Matters.coach. COACH. Also, you can join our conversation on Facebook by following us there. Our Facebook page is also Happiness-Matters.coach.